Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello everyone. Welcome to our video presentation. We are from Group 4 and we are going to present about instructional design. Before going into further into the material or to the topic, I would like to introduce myself. So my name is Mohammad Owen. I'm the as the moderator or the first speaker. The next is Fatwa Khaira as the second speaker, and lastly Ulmi Kamila as the third speaker. So before going to the material, I would like to introduce the table of contents to know what's the topic that we are going to present. So the first one is about the concept of instructional design. The second one is an example of instructional design. The third one is a instructional as a process. The fourth one as a discipline. And the fifth one as a science. Then as a reality. And lastly is about the scope of instructional design. So first one, the concept of instructional design. The concept. So talking about the concept, so we are going to give the definition. So for the first one is the definition of instructional design. It's a systematic and a reflection of process learning that was made into plan for instructional materials, activities in school, giving information, resources, and also evaluation. It also shows a student learning process and what materials and also the methods of study that will effectively help each of the students to achieve their academic goals. So, for example, it's like the learning UNP and also the portal UNP. Uh, it was stated by this role that he mentioned that it's the design that deliberately arrangement of learning conditions to promote the attainment of some intended goal. And also by Scon that stated that the instructional design is a process of reflective conversation with the materials a given situation. So here's that e-learning ONP shows some material and activities that are intended to prepare the learning for something. For example, it shows the student RPS or syllabus of every courses that the student needs to prepare, shows the deadline of the course, shows assignment, submission, and also other ones. Instructional designers are responsible on creating the course design and developing all instructional materials. It's also including presentation materials that were asked by teachers, participants, guides, handout by files, and also other material. So the persons are also in charge for evaluating training, including assessing that was learned and whether the learning solution led to measurable behavior changes. Next, into the characteristics of instructional design. So the first one is learning centered. It means that teaching approach that is encouraged in education. The second one is goal oriented. It means that to aims or the outcomes that the students or learners or teachers will achieve. For example, lecturers or teachers give assignments that need to be done in order to get scores and accomplish their as a student learning studies. The third one is focuses on real world performance. It means that they should be active in learning activities. The next one is focuses on the outcomes of studies. The next one is empirical. Empirical means it used to do a practical and experiments, not only by learning theory. The last one is a team effort, which is in order to create a successful design that can be used by students. The next one is going to be explained by Fatwa Khaira. Fatwa Khaira, time is yours.
Okay, thank you. Here I would like to explain the example of instructional design. Next. So, example of instructional design, there are a lot of examples like AD model, Day and Carry model, Robert Jenny ID, and so many more. But in this video, I will tell about the AD model more. And this picture and the second picture is about Eddie. Actually, for many years now, educators and instructional designers alike have used the Eddie instructional design method as a framework in designing and developing educational and training programs. Eddie stands for Analyze, Design, Develop, Implement, and Evaluate. The sequence, however, does not impose a strict linear progression through the steps. Educators, instructionals, designers, and training developers find this approach very useful because having stage clearly facilitates implementation of effective training tools. As an ID model has found wide acceptance and use. Okay, let's talk about five stage in AD instructional design models. First, analyze. The analysis phase can be considered as the goal setting stage. The focus of this designer in this phase is on the target audience. It is also here that the program matches the level of skill and intelligence. Second, design. This stage determines all goals, tools to be used to gauge performance, various stages, subject matter analysis, planning, and resource. Third, development. The development stage starts the production and testing of the methodology being used in the project. In this stage, designer make use of the data collected from the two previous stages and use their information to create a program that will relate that need to be taught to participants. Fourth, implementation. The implementation stage reflects the continuous modification of the program to make sure maximum efficiency and positive result is obtained. Here is where ID strive to redesign, update, and edit the course in order to ensure that it can be delivered effectively. Fifth, evaluation. The last stage of the AD method is evaluation. This is the stage in which the project is being subjected to meticulous final testing regarding the what, how, why, when of the things that we are accomplished of the entire project. This phase can be broken down into two parts, formative and summative. I think that's all the explanation about examples. So the next will be explained of Ulmi by Ulmi.
Thank you, Fatwa, and I will explain the next material. It's about instructional design as a process, discipline, science, and reality. The first is instructional design as a process. The systematic development of instructional specifications by using learning and also theory to ensure the quality of instruction. The process analysis of learning needs and goals and also the development of delivery system to meet those specifications. There are development of materials and activities such as tryout, evaluation, and learner activities. This process consists of knowing the needs of learners, defining the end goals and objectives of instruction, designing and planning assessment tasks, and also designing teaching and learning activities. The next is instructional design as a discipline. It shows the branch of knowledge concerned with research and theory about instructional strategies and the process to develop and implement those strategies in learning. And the third is instructional design as a science. The science of creating a full detailed specification for the development, implementation, evaluation, and maintenance of situations that facilitate the learning, both in big and small units of subject matter at all levels of complexity. Learning science is a professional imperative for instructional designers, and this means that instructional design applied learning science. In order to create an effective learning experience that will attract, we need to know how learning works and what facilitates and hinders it. And the fourth is instructional design as a reality. This design can start at any place or point in the process. The idea is developed for create or form a shape of core in an instructional situation, or a designer was asked to fix or to improve previously made presentation or instruction. The designer may be using a combination of content like writings, presentation, or interviews with subject matter expert, or we call as SMES or UKM. Frequently, the designer is asked to reuse, fix, or to improve the previous written content or instruction for different learner groups. The common use of repacking instruction is in delivering through technology such as web-based training, online learning like e-learning, CDs, video, and so on. After all the process is done, the designer looks back and checks all parts of the science that have been taken to the account. Then all the process will be written up as if it occurred in a systematic fashion for future project improvements. Then we talk about the scope of instructional design. Responsible for developing materials such as customer training course, which help to support the company's technical products. For that purpose, an instructional designer is tasked with creating material that helps all types of users understand the product better. It starts with an assessment of the performance gap. Then specific tools and methods are applied by formulating the objectives and design a process. The job announced in the page. The announcement comes with overall professional title and main duties. It's described as developer of a training program, where the designer needs to lead a training program and will be delivered to learners. It needs a teamwork to create methods that are effective to solve the problems or improve the performance gaps of learners. I think that's all of our presentation. Sorry with any mistakes. If you guys have any comments, critiques, or suggestions, and also questions, you may write it down in forum discussion. We will discuss it later. Thank you for watching. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.